I know that. Like,
so the point that he wouldn't listen to was
We're going to be reacting to David Wood's recent discussion with Sheikh Uthman Farouk. So David Wood returned again to Balboa Park in California to talk to Sheikh Uthman Farouk about a few other issues, in particular some of the pamphlets or tracts that he picked up on his last visit.
no Christian on the planet who would say, if you read something in the Bible and you're concerned about interpreting it correctly, there is no Christian on the planet who would say, don't read what scholars have said. Yeah, show me one.
Now, they say in debates people only listen to their own sides, and I tend to agree with that. One of the purposes of debate is actually to educate your own audience and to show them how to respond to certain issues, to improve their confidence, their articulation skills. Obviously, debate is a type of it's a tool, right? But that is not the default way to give dawah. Even Sheikh Uthman, I know he would agree with this. And this is not how Sheikh Uthman gives dawah, by the way. But David Wood, in particular here, for those who are watching this, is a very hostile person. He has a very controversial history. He's been dehumanizing Muslims using some of the most disgusting insults. So Sheikh Uthman Farouk here, hafidhullah, mashallah, he used the appropriate, measured way, a wise way to deal with such individuals. He was more direct with David Wood, and appropriately direct, right? While still maintaining adab. And that's one of the amazing things actually you see from people who have studied the deen a little bit, is that they actually maintain adab. If you look at Sheikh Uthman, he even asks David Wood here towards the end to be respectful of his time. And you can see David Wood isn't. Now, David Wood is a good communicator. That's the advantage that he has. He knows how to communicate. But really, is he intelligent? Is he academic? Is he honest? You Christians should be able to answer this question for yourself. Just by this short clip I just played. You tell me, put it in the comments below. I know some of you might want to attack Islam and attack Muslims. Okay, we'll get to your questions in a second. Just tell me right now if you think David Wood is an honest person, just by what he's saying here in this particular clip, that no Christian in the world, I know there's 1 billion Christians, would do that.
Christian on the planet who would say, okay, go.
No, come back another day. You know the
okay, well, I'll continue talking. You can listen to me if you want to jump in.
So he's basically saying no Christian. I mean, first of all, this is the frustrating thing. Anybody who understood what Sheikh Uthman was saying knows that David Wood is misrepresenting what Sheikh Uthman said. Either he deliberately didn't listen, or he's misrepresenting. And obviously, I'm inclined towards the latter, that he didn't go there to actually learn. He went there to debate and to misrepresent and to take clips for his own audience, which is, again, that's his intentions. It shows, unfortunately, a lack of sincerity. And let's just actually analyze what and I want Christians especially to think about this, and for us Muslims, this is a really good lesson. So no Muslim is going to say, obviously, you can't read the Quran for yourself. You should read the Quran for yourself. You should reflect upon the Quran. You should do tadabbur on the Quran. You should ask yourself questions as to how you can apply this, how you can follow the Quran and the Sunnah, etc., etc. What Sheikh Uthman is talking about is taking the law into your own hands. Westerners should be very familiar with this concept. You have the Constitution, you have laws, you have bylaws. Those are all available to everybody online, on the web. They're available in public. We can all go access them, read them, review them, try to understand them, but nobody's going to take the law into their own hands. And so that's the simple point that Sheikh Uthman is making and was making in this video. And David Wood, on the other hand, says, no Christian in the world, which right from the beginning, he's setting himself up because Sheikh Uthman actually demonstrated just a minute before that examples where Christians have blown up abortion clinics. I mean, he didn't go into details, but he mentioned where people, they have violated human rights. There's Christians in the Central African Republic who have committed horrendous crimes. Even the United States government and many American soldiers, they had Bible verses on their guns when they were invading lands, Muslim lands, because they thought it was like a religious perspective. Now, and I even want to address a little bit of the atheist community. If they're gonna say, well, see, a religion causes all sorts of problems, please don't go down that route, because you can even look up crimes committed by atheist regimes and so forth. And and some of the most violent people, or some of the most violent statements, are actually said by militant atheists like Sam Harris. So again, that's another ball game. But I really hope, God willing, inshallah, we all recognize the fallacy that David Wood here is making, and it should be common sense to the average viewer, is that you don't pick up a religious text and make your own interpretations and then act it out, right? Especially when there's no consensus of scholars or a group of scholars who says A, B, C.
But your audience knows that you've been informed,
break it down,
right?
so you can hear what I'm saying. So, I have never heard of a Christian who would say, if you want to understand this verse, don't read about it. Don't go to the classical...
Does anybody think that's what Sheikh Uthman was saying? Does anyone think, honestly, that that's what Sheikh Uthman was saying? That to understand the Quran, we should not go to the Quran, and nobody should read the Quran. Do you honestly think, Christians, that that's what Sheikh Uthman was saying?
Bible scholars. Don't look at what Bible scholars have said. You can only go to a person who has this kind of credentials and so on. Never heard anyone say that. So to consider that a parallel, if you're bothered by that verse, the first thing you would do is look up a commentary. You get a study Bible, you get a commentary by like Paul Copan or something like that on things that are regarded as moral problems in the Bible and so on. No one would say you have to spend years researching at the feet of a scholar to understand what's being said there, or to understand it. I can't think of anything in the Bible. Obviously, if you're getting into theology, it helps to do a ton of research and to study. But if it's straightforward commands, the commands that are directed towards us are pretty clear.
What the hell is he talking about? Yeah, I'd like to see some Christians take the law into their own hands and see how that works out. In regards to the Bible. I mean, there's just so many things. For A, what is a command, right? What is it? What someone interprets as a command, and then B is obviously the issue with taking the law into their own hands. I'd love to see David Wood try to act upon every single command in the Bible. Let's just leave it to the New Testament if he wants. Let's see how that works out. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't follow religion. I'm saying that David Wood has one standard for his faith and his beliefs, and another standard for Islam, and he doesn't apply that. He doesn't apply it when it comes to the preservation of the Bible versus the preservation of the Quran. He doesn't apply it to theology or our laws. He doesn't apply it to rationality and common sense. In fact, when he talks about Islam, he often looks at it from a secular, liberal, even atheistic perspective. He criticizes. He's in the past criticized things like, why you guys allowed multiple wives, and you're this and you're that. And in that instance, my jaw is just like dropping. I'm just like, I'm so confused. Are you a Christian? Did you just criticize Muslims for having more than one wife? I don't understand. And that's an option, by the way. It's not mandatory, and it's there for a wisdom and a reason if you do some research, obviously. So I just hope Christians, this opens up the eyes of Christians. I know David Wood tried to post this video to make Muslims look bad. I actually think this might actually make Muslims look good. And just about a minute before Sheikh Uthman refutes his points, let's watch that.
Conclusion. We cannot put that kind of a debate in a flyer. Neither do you, right? Let me give you an example. This is from the Bible, right? You have here a verse in Exodus 21, 20, 21. Exodus 21, 20, 21. And if a man beats his male or female servant with a rod so that he dies under his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding, if he remains alive a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his property. Now, if I don't look at context, if I don't ask David Wood or anybody, and I just take this and say the Bible's clear, I'm going to get a slave, I'm going to beat him to death, and if he stays alive, I can't be arrested. And now you are going to come and say, no, that's not the context, this is the old, this is this. But then you're contradicting your own point. You're telling me to go get context for ayat from the Bible when you won't do the same for the Quran. This is...
Beautiful point. Inshallah, I'll end it here. For those of you who want to learn more about Islam, and again, I encourage my own Muslim brothers and sisters to learn about our deen. We need to learn about our deen, inshallah. I need to learn about my deen. Try to read the Quran in your own language, both in Arabic and English, right, or whatever native language that is. Try to also read the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Try to also attend some kind of a local class, maybe once a week or whenever you can, or even listen to a series if you're able to, or follow a book. In terms of learning how to do dawah or debate, again, those are two different things, but they both come in hand. Sometimes you have to give dawah, sometimes you have to give debate to the same person, because that it helps open up that person's eyes. But obviously, by default, you should use a soft method and a method that is suitable for the person you're talking to, right? But to learn about dawah and debate, you could look at IERA, IERA. You could also look at Sheikh Kamal al-Makki has an excellent course called Shahada in 10 minutes, or How to Give Dawah, which I believe is 4 parts. You could also look at Salam Initiative, EF Dawah, SC Dawah. There's a lot of different resources out there. And obviously One Message Foundation, which is Sheikh Uthman Farouk's platform, well, affiliated with Sheikh Uthman Farouk, alhamdulillah, done by some brothers there in the US. So, barakallahu feekum, make dua for us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And please don't forget to not subscribe. Actually, I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. I'm going to ask you first to make dua for us. And I'm going to ask you, inshallah ta'ala, to remind us all the du'at to keep their intentions pure, to do the morning and evening supplications, inshallah, to at least do dhikr every single day, to hold steadfast to the Quran and Sunnah, so that inshallah we ask Allah for guidance, because you don't ever want to be in a situation where, like somebody like David Wood in this instance, who is arrogant and looks like there's some signs of insincerity because of that consistent arrogance, where he's not willing to listen, not willing to learn, not willing to admit. And so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all from that. And the best way to do that is to humble ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for guidance. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.